Hey guys, me again, Orchler. What ifs? Where we last left off? Let's see. Checking. And where we last left off? Oh, sorry, I just said that. Where we last left off? What was it? Freaking Hawk. There we go. I am drinking Diet Coke, so I'm sorry for that. Anyways, he had just finished discussing with Hawk since Deku's the unofficial leader of the Horsemen, is why Hawks had gone to him specifically. And he talked about how the angels upstairs wanted Deku to remain neutral. So that way he doesn't do anything brash or nothing. So, he decided to keep with it. Also, I would like to give a small shout out to a guy I like to watch personally. He's a very small channel. Very, very small. And I would like to just give him another shout out. There's a few others I know, a few that I would also like, but I'm pretty sure you guys would already know them, such as Diomedes Rouge, Ravenclaw What Ifs, and the guy I'm talking about is Pocket What Ifs. He's, as he says, a what ifer in your pocket. He's doing a very good hybrid series that I would think a lot of people would actually quite like, and I think you should all at least give him a chance. And he also, I believe, just did a what if Deku and Bell were on Lost Planet. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I'm pretty sure I know what it's about. And after, I just want to give a shout out. This series will be much smaller. Like I said, this will be ended off rather soon. And sorry for those who want to do the later seasons. I will probably be cutting them off after a certain point, just so we don't have like I said, series dragging on and on and on. Sorry it took me a while to upload. It's just that I've been writing on my little thing I do, and I've been thinking about that a bit more than I do this. So I'm sorry if this is quite a bit late. So I hope you guys will enjoy this. Now back to the story. Deku got told by Hawks what he wanted, and that they may come to him for certain things. So Deku relayed this message to the other horsemen as they're all talking, and as it so happens, we eventually get to the arc where, since they don't have to upgrade their hero costumes, we're going to skip past that straight to the point where they have to do the hero exams, so that way they could get the chance to go to the... Wait, I almost forgot about something. Island. I would just be skipping right ahead and just said, they handled that stuff quick. When they got there, since Deku won it, it wasn't as bad, since he could summon the horsemen across from pretty much... He could summon the horsemen, since they got since they do got teleportation. When everything was going down, Deku summoned all the horsemen, since he actually brought Bakugo with him. And they tore Wolf, I believe, Wolfgang, I believe his name is Wolf or something like that. They took him down before they could even get anything settled, because Deku knows, or Def knows about strategies, and when lights turned out, he immediately thought something was up, so that was taken care of. Sorry to cut it short, but like I said, I'm cutting things short. But I'm not trying to rush things either, so sorry. Anyways, as they're going on with the training, the horsemen have a predicament, you see. They will be split off, and Deku understands that they will not be working together with any of them. Each one will have their own separate tasks that they will be attacking, is what they think. This is what actually happens, since there's 4 of them. What happens is this, as Deku and all them are waiting for not for All Might, but for, as always, explaining that each team will be paired up with a hero, and hero would stop them. As they're okay, this makes a lot of sense. Yeah, this ain't gonna be happening. So what happens is this, and it's you 4. As they're waiting for their explanation on what's gonna happen with them, don't you dare try to sit on me. I will smack you. Anyways, sorry. As they're listening on to what's going on, eventually it's I am here. All Might shows up, because you know how things go down. They're waiting to see what he's going to say, and they get the rundown. The 4 of them are fighting All Might. As the teachers think they may be very good students at the moment, but there's no way they can take on All Might. Little did they know, Deku has been waiting for this. He's like, alright, we know how his weaknesses are, we know where his weak point is, we know how to take him down. As they wait and listen, they eventually themselves are taken care of. Let's just say all the students pass. Like, let's say Deku, that Bakugo is paired up. Since teachers targeted their weakness, Bakugo doesn't have a whole lot of weaknesses in this one. Even his, like, arrogance, his, like I said, probably said before, is taken down quite a bit since he's been up with Deku his whole life. So he's able to be more cooperative. Sorry. Anyways, as we'll just focus on Deku and them, they're facing off against All Might as War is saying that we could take him. We know how his weakness is, we know how to take him down, we could do it if we work together. As the Horsemen's thing is that it's not difficult for them to work together. As far as Aizawa and them can tell, it's near perfection. But it's the fact that they want to see if they could take on somebody as powerful as All Might. Since they've seen every single one of them in action to some degree. They saw how Mina dealt with Kurogiri. They saw how Momo or Strife dealt with like loads upon enemies bearing down on them. Then they saw War and Death, how they fought, and they were impressed. They were also impressed since they're not sure how it got out, but they didn't see how they fight with Stain, but they saw how they fight with each other. And Aizawa said he had to admit he'd be hard-pressed to defeat them. And if I remember, I had a little thing where Deku was a vigilante for a short while. So, yeah, that pretty much dropped as soon as Deku got into UA. He just did because he was bored. Anyways. Man, my arm. No, bug bites. Anyways, sorry, I keep on going off track. Deku and all of them are waiting as they have laid out a trap for All Might. As when they were watching everyone else go, they were sitting there waiting, thinking of the perfect plan to take down All Might. And they thought about it and they're like, alright, we'll have Deku and we'll have War and Death lure him into a trap. Momo will make things to get him trapped. Since they just have to technically restrain him with the cuffs. They don't necessarily have to outright beat him. So with that, Deku and all of them lie in wait. As Deku and Deku and Ida are standing right there. They're like, you ready, Ida? As they crack their necks, is like, or since they're technically doing this as heroes, they're not using their actual names. They're using their hero names, which is Life and Peace. And it's just like, you ready, Life? As always, Peace. As they prep themselves, Deku immediately goes into his Reaper form. As he's like, we'll stop him here. And Bak and Ida goes into his Reaper form as he's like, yes, we shall. So they stand there ready. All Might comes in, and with a single punch, he hits them, and they are both taken down quite a bit. Since All Might is still perceived as this godlike being, even among the horsemen, they are still heavily outmatched in a single fight, since he goes faster than the eye could even hope to track. And this isn't even in his prime. In his prime, he would have probably knocked all four of them out, since, you know, how he is. And so with that, they're just absorbing these punches. All Might's like, I know your other teammates are around here, heroes. As he's beating on them, and it's just like, almost there. As he reached to where an area has been closed off, as All Might's like, wait a second. As Momo comes around and transforms into, not Momo, Mina transforms into her, like, it's not Chaos, Havoc form? No, Rampage. Havoc or Rampage, one of the two. She immediately takes her whips and wraps them around him as she uses all her strength to keep him contained. Where Deku and Bakugo, not Deku and Bakugo, why do I keep saying Bakugo? It's probably because it's a UA test. They grab a hold of him and force him to sit down. As immediately, Momo just starts shooting him with things that are her bullets are meant to deplete his energy. As she's just lighting him up, he's like, "Well done with this trap, but it's not enough." As he goes to throw open his do that power stance where they go whog. He immediately breaks the chains that throw Mina off, and Deku and Ida are sent flying. He immediately charges at Momo as she makes she uses her bullet to blind All Might temporarily, and then just barely able to slip the cuff on his leg as they're like. As All Might had let that punch fly, and she was just, like I said, barely able to get on him. As that force hit her, she was sent flying into a building. As it's like, "Our hero team wins!" As All Might's like, "What?" He's like, "Hold up." And then he looks down, he looks at it, instead of his leg, it's his arm. He's like, "Well done, young heroes. You are passed." As they're like, "Yay," as Momo just falls down from the building. As they're like, "Even though he's weaker, he's most certainly still stronger." He's like, "Deku, do you think you could have beat him if you actually tried to kill him?" He's like, "Maybe. Not sure, though." As he just, has himself fall down as they're, kinda out cause, All Might, slaps them all. "Get up!" "Yes, sir." So they all walk back with All Might as he has to leave and debuff. They meet up with him later as he discusses how their teamwork was perfect even against the likes of him. They just have to grow a bit stronger, and one day they may actually be able to take him down. As they're like, "Thank you, All Might." As they bow their heads, it's like, when I'm in this form, just call me Toshinori." It's like, "Yes, sir, Mr. Toshinori." As they all bow their heads and they leave, as All Might's just like, this is getting weirder and weirder. They're fighting everything. He's most definitely confident that they will be amazing. He says that maybe they would end up just sharing the top #1 hero team. And individually, each of them will probably rank in the top 10s. That's how he views it. That Deku may be able to rise to #1. If not, he's going to be in the strong place to take #2 at the very least. As he thinks Mirio, since Mirio has his quirk, will be the one to take #1. So, like I was saying, Deku and them all get done and everything. So, with that, they're permitted to go on this field trip as they go to the mall like usual. And the pool day thing, that really does happen still. As they all go to the pool, everyone still has the racing, the fun. As Deku and Ida are still talking to each other about what happened with Stain, everything. As Ida's like, "Thank you, Kaminari and Mineta for suggesting this." As he hugs him still, since he's much taller in this, it's much more hard for Kaminari and Mineta, Katie, and he bear hugs him to a point he's like, "You do not think I knew what you were trying to do." Since he's still Ida, he knows him pretty well. He's like, "I remember everything." As they're like, "Oh crap." Anyways, Deku talks with more Bakugo, and they all sit there and have the races. Needless to say, let's just say Bakugo won. But they all still, Ida, technically, I guess, kinda, well, he couldn't really win. They all do their thing. So it comes down to the 4 of them. As they're about to do it, they jump in and then, Aizawa's like, "Knock it off." So then they all leave. Sorry. Anyways, as everything's going on, they go to the mall. At the mall scene, Shigaraki doesn't come this time since he has no reason to. Since, they were able to successfully handle him, and he still wanted to know why Stain was so hype, but he is not willing to go after Deku by himself. Excuse me. He sees Deku as a very, very high threat. That even the chance at killing him would have to be at least 75% chance of victory before he would even attempt it. As they go with this, Deku and them are ready, okay. We need to think. As they're at the, we need to think, what am I thinking about? Why? God, my mind is all over the place. Anyways, sorry, my mind is, like I said, all over the place. I don't know why I'm saying these things. Anyways, Deku and them are heading over to the frickin' summer camp. And as they're in the mountains, Deku is actually just taking the chance to admire the scenery. He's like, peace. As he has noise-canceling headphones on. So he actually offered Aizawa some. Aizawa's like, thanks. And they both just Deku just sort of meditated there, just waiting. Ito was talking with classmates. Same thing with Mina and Momo. As they're all listening, Deku eventually just gets the feeling something's gonna happen. I don't know what. As they wait, eventually, it does strike. Boom! Everything happens quick and fast. Ah, my eyes. As Deku and them are waiting, eventually they see the Wild Wild Pussycats as they feel something odd. As when they're approaching the camp. If I remember, Kota was with the Wild Wild Pussycats while they were there. So when as Deku and all of them, what is this power? As he gathered all of them, he's like, something is here. It feels familiar. It's it feels like angel and demon. Doesn't make any sense. It's as before Ida's able to finish, Mo says a Nephilim. It's not possible. Samael said there were that angels and demons were coming over here and finding peace amongst each other, but he never frickin' said that they already had kids. So alright, calm down. It could be misunderstanding. Maybe there's an angel, maybe there's just a demon around here too. They're waiting, they get thrown overboard. And so with that, Kota's looking down on them. As Deku was looking back up with Kota looking over the edge, he made eye contact and he's like, it's him. As they made they did not take their time getting through the forest. They chomped that forest down. Ida conjured up his sword to just start swinging massively, destroying entire chunks of tree. As I'll cover path. Chop, 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 chop. As Deku was taking out things in the air, with everyone doing their part, essentially. As this was happening, it's crazy. Really, it's just insane. That's what's happening. Deku and all of them they make it through without any hindrance, really. And they make it through, like I said, without any hindrance. They get there, and they're not as banged up as in the original. Some of them still collapse, aka Mineta and Denki, since they really aren't that physical with their quirks, as far as you can tell. That they don't train like they do. Obviously, not like they do, but you get the point. As Ida and Deku are waiting, as Deku sees Kota again, he's like, hello, I am Izuku Midoriya. It is a pleasure to meet you. As he sticks out his hand, Kota still goes for the nut punch. As this time, Deku avoids it, he's just like, nope. He's like, as he bonks Kota on his head, he's like, that is not very pleasant. Actually, no, scratch that. He does nail him. He nails him hard. And Deku's like, oh, this kid's definitely never. As he could feel the force from that punch, and it was not the force of a child that young and that small should be able to wield. He's like, Oh, as he falls over, as he does, like, you should not hit him in the back, hit him in the nuts. As he's giving him discipline, as Mandalay's just like, oh my god, I am so sorry. That must hurt so much. As with that, Deku's like, I think that kid's a Nephilim. As he just like, what do you mean? He's like, that power behind that punch. Even if a human of substantial caliber hit me there, it wouldn't hurt this bad. As Deku just falls unconscious, he's like, even for Nephilim, no one could survive getting hit there. As every guy there was like, ooh, as they like all clutched there. Even Momo, since she was Stripe, and Stripe used to have that equipment. She like covers. She's like, oh god, that must have hurt so bad. Oh, so with that, they're in the baths and everything. Eminem gets slapped down as Kota still falls down. They all like watch in horror and Deku like catches him. As he gets the information from Mandalay, what happened, they're listening and he's like, cousin. And he's like, wait, cousin? I think I remember the Water Heroes, but if I remember, she looked nothing like you or really. Well, she was adopted, I was told, or something like that. Like, we don't know. Well, it's not really she was a blood relative. It's just that she was just so close that she was like a cousin, Deku's like, so you have no idea where she came from? She's like, no, not really. Now that you think about it, I find it quite odd that no side really knew where she came from, or even her husband. Actually, we never met the husband's family. As she just started pondering it, Deku's like, Mandalay, I would suggest you don't dig too deep. This will be quite weird, I feel, and I don't think you should meddle with this business. As she's like, but Koda's my dear little kid brother, as she's trying to fight for the right. As Deku walks up to her, put his hand on his shoulder, and he's like, I may be in a towel right now, but I suggest you take me seriously. As he looks her deep in the eyes, I will look into this. If my suspicions are correct, then this kid may be more than meets the eye. He may be my kid. She's like, what was that? He said, nothing. Anyways, I'll deal with it, alright? As, instead of going to bed, he stays up late researching it. Like, he goes deep, like, to as far back as he could about the Water Hero, since he's like, alright, water powers. He's like, they could have been angels. One could have been an angel using disguise as human, using abilities of water to telekinesis. That wouldn't explain the husband, or whichever one's a demon. They don't have that. So unless he just used telekinesis. As he's thinking and rubbing his chin, he's like, this boy, if he is a demon, or a Nephilim birth made naturally, quote unquote, as he says naturally, made by angels and demons, this could be a real big problem. As he's scratching his chin, Ida's like, what's the matter? He's like, I think Kota's, like I told you, the Nephilim. And I've gone back as far as I could. I cannot find a single thing on his parents before, like, 12 years before they showed up. Became properly licensed hero. I even looked back the records. They became heroes after taking the exam, got everything signed up, but it doesn't say what hero school they came to. This could be a thing with the Hero Commission. Like, those guys do some shady stuff. I'm not wrong, am I? He's like, no, you're not wrong. So what should we do? He's like, we'll test the kid later. He's like, wait, do we even have a test for them? He's like, yes, we do. We can test out if he's half demon, half angel, or Nephilim, as we will call them. As they settle that, eventually they get on with the training routine and everything. Deku and War and Death's training routines just bubbles down to this. Fight each other until you can't fight anymore. So they were started off extra early, and they were forced to fight each other. As they were fighting, they went on all day. That's no joke. Even long after everybody was like, so tired, Deku and Ida were like winded. and that they were starting to huff and puff as well. As they weren't holding back or nothing, they were going full force, and Mina and Momo were doing the same, just fighting each other, full force, no holds barred. As Momo would have to take breaks to, work on her frickin' creating quirk, and Mina her acid, since, that's how it works. So with that, and Ida would actually, while fighting Deku, work on his engine thing, where he would take long amounts of time just running in circles and just coming constantly, never stopping. And this also helped Deku with his defense, since Deku's defense was a tiny bit lacking in Ida's opinion. So he helped him with that by just constantly running back and forth and attacking him. So following this comes the nighttime when Deku approaches Koda after he follows him to his thing. He's like, I know who your parents are, or who they claim to be. He's like, what do you mean? As he's like very upset, as Deku's like, could you mind standing here for a bit? As Deku starts like casting a bit of magic, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I have a suspicion that you aren't entirely human as you may think you are. As he casts his like little spell on him, he's like, what the heck are you? As in, he feels that sort of kindred bond between Deku, like spark out, because he felt it before, and he's like, why? As he was so upset that he just ignored it. He's like, oh, seems true. So he's rubbing his chin, he's like, what do you mean? He's like, your parents were not human. They were an angel and a demon, respectively. Like, no, that's not possible. Angels, demons can't have kids. He's like, yes, they can. They've done it with humans, and they've done it with each other. They can do it between each other. So that makes you a Nephilim, kid. As Deku's like rubbing his chin, he's like, that makes you a Nephilim. Didn't think when you'd pop up so soon. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, it's better if we... As he summons like all the horsemen, as they all run off, as Tokiyami's like, oh, this will be interesting. Revelry in the dock. As he uses Dark Shadow to help get himself over there, as he's watching them, as he followed them very quietly, as he all like knew where Koda went off to, as he watched Deku walk away. Let's just scratch that. He followed Deku up there since he had a suspicion thing was going on. As he was listening to Deku talk, he's like, another one? That can't be possible. As the three others showed up, they're all listening in as Deku says, tell me, do you know about the 4 horsemen? As Koda's, no way. He's like, you guys died. He's like, technically yes, technically no. We were reborn as humans. Technically, we're still Nephilim. It's a weird thing, alright? Point is, we know what you are, and we can sense it as well. We sensed it immediately as we came here. And I think Mandalay may have been lying to me. As he thinks about it, Mandalay seemed pretty worried when she was explaining how little she knew about, well, his mother and father. And she suspects they might have actually known her. She might have known that they were angel and demon, but kept it to herself because he's like, she didn't want, and that's why he's out here. Because if angels and demons could sense a Nephilim, since Nephilims are immensely powerful, since they're like a mix between both sides, it would be devastating for either side to try and get their hands on Koda. So she takes him out here in the middle of nowhere to keep him safe. Deku's like, it makes perfect sense. So, as he looks up and he's like, you're a Nephilim, accept it. Your life is going to be a lot more difficult than any other. He's like, why is that? He's like, well, one, angels and demons are either going to want to A, kill you, B, have you on their side, C, make sure you stay neutral, and or... that's about it. So you can either be left alone if you're powerful enough, or be killed if you're weak enough. One of the two. As he's like, why me? He's like, hey kid, it's not an easy life. What's the life you got? We can't teach you anything really useful. Like, do you have any talents? She's like, got my water telekinesis. He's like, in the middle of the forest. You can spray water. Or do you think you can squeeze him in for some supplementary classes of warfare? He's like, I could. Probably give him a mace or something like that. He's like, God. Well, we need to speak more of this later, kid. But we'll be in touch, alright? As Tokoyami's like, I was right. As Mina just turns around, who goes there? As she uses her whip and gets him, he's like, ah. It's like, oh, it's Tokoyami. Well, this is going to get weird and interesting to explain. As they start to question Tokoyami. And that's where I'm thinking I'm going to be ending this one off at. I hope you guys enjoy this. Hope you guys enjoy this. Remember what I said. Check out Insane Gorilla. Not Insane Gorilla. Well, Insane Gorilla and Pocket What Ifs. He's pretty good in small channel, like I said. Check him out. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy this. Hope you guys can enjoy this. And I hope you guys have a nice day, nice night, nice life.